Do you have to be rich to ride horses? When I was 9 years old, I was just reading every horsey book and watching every horsey movie and buying every horsey toy, and I just wanted a horse more than anything. And every Christmas I would beg and plead for a horse, and every birthday I would beg and plead for a horse, and I just simply, my family could not afford it. I lived in California, it was very expensive, they were very far away to drive, and actually I was only able to take 2 riding lessons every single month, so every other weekend. And that was all that we could afford growing up. Now, I always wanted to work with horses, and although I didn't have the money to have my own horses, I sort of put it in my mind that I was going to make this happen no matter what. So that is why in today's video, I am going to be discussing, do you have to be rich to ride horses? Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and comment down below before you watch the ending. Do you think you have to be rich or not in order to ride horses? I spent most of my childhood and my teen years just dreaming and begging for a horse, and one day, I was old enough to actually get a job and work with horses. That was when I turned 15 years old, and so that's what I did. I started working with horses, and at the age of 15, and I never looked back. So from the age of 15 up until now, I have been working with horses professionally. And, now I'm in a position where I'm a little bit more freelance, like I actually own my own horses now. I don't have to work for anyone else, I kind of do my own thing now. But I definitely spent the past 15 years of my life traveling and working with horses internationally in a variety of places. And because I took my job so seriously and I wanted to be the best rider ever, I went and I studied at 2 different equestrian schools where I got some certifications and pieces of paper, and then later on when I moved to Europe I also became an FEI level 2 show jumping coach. So I got all of the pieces of paper that I needed, and I just kept working and just burying myself into the equestrian lifestyle. Okay, when you work with horses, it's 6 days a week, sun up until sundown, and that's basically what I did. And because I was so focused and so dedicated, and I got really good at riding, that I kind of got to move up the scales, and I was able to ride maybe 5 to 8 horses every single day. Now, I did not have any money. When I first started working, actually a lot of the jobs did not pay me any money. I was a working student, I was working for free. However, the great thing about horse jobs is that most of the time they will provide you with accommodation, some of them even your meals. So I didn't really have any bills, I didn't really have any expenses other than my college money that I had to pay, my student loans. But other than that, I was able to kind of have no expenses or very low expenses, and so I was able to sort of do that for quite some time without really suffering too much. Now, obviously that doesn't work permanently forever. At some point you do need to make some money. And luckily for me, I only worked as a working student for 3 months of my life, and then I kind of upgraded and I never looked back, and I started working at more and more higher level jobs and doing a variety of things like giving lessons and such. So to answer the question, do you have to be rich to ride horses? Well, no, you don't, because I wasn't rich. I never had any money. Like I said, I was working for free. I didn't have even my own apartment. I didn't have my own vehicle. I even had some periods in my life where I was actually technically homeless, and I have lived in my car at one point in my life. So, I was never rich, but I always found a way, and because I was able to work with horses, I was able to ride basically for free, or they would pay me to ride. Nowadays, obviously, they have to pay me quite a bit of money if they want me to ride their horses. So I don't really offer that very often. That's just kind of every now and then if I feel like it, but I have my own horses now, which is great because now I can ride anytime I want, any day. It doesn't matter. It's my horses. So when it comes to the decision of, do you want to work with horses or do you want to get your own horses? How is it possible to actually ride horses if you're not rich. The one option, of course, is like I said, you can work with horses. You don't have to be a slave. You don't have to do sort of what I did. You don't have to work full time. You can even contact your local stables, because when I was a kid, I used to pick stalls or do small odd jobs in order to help pay for my riding lessons. Now, if you're an adult and you're like, well, I don't want to muck stalls, then that's fine. Maybe they need help with some office work or social media or, whatever it is. But don't completely knock that out, don't just say like, oh, that's not even an option, without even actually trying or asking. So contact all of the stables, contact your tack shop, like whoever, ask around, and maybe there's somebody at the stables, maybe who's not even like the owner of the stables, but maybe there's somebody at the stables who's looking to have their horse exercised a couple times a week, and they would be more than happy for you to go and ride their horse. So I would suggest that you write down kind of your goals, how often every week you want to ride, how much money you can afford to spend based on your budget, and then accordingly try and work out how many times a week you can ride, or how many times in a month, or whatever. And then try and reach out to people on Facebook or different places and see if you can actually make your dreams manifest. And what I found is the more that you start digging around and asking people, the more that those doors will open up for you. I can't tell you how many times that I would kind of finish one job at one stables, and I was kind of looking for another job, another stables to work with, and before I even had time to look, like, people were approaching me, and people were offering me their horses to ride, or asking me to travel to their country so I could give them lessons. So after a while, this kind of snowball effect takes place, and I didn't even have to actively look for horses anymore, because horses were everywhere and they were finding me. So do you have to be rich to ride horses? No. Now, I am also gonna say horses ain't cheap. They are not cheap, and if you buy horses, you will find out when you get your very first vet bill, which will probably be soon because Murphy's Law, you will find out horses are not cheap. You definitely have to have some money. You have to have a stable job, or whatever it is. You have to have some kind of plan or strategy on how you're gonna pay the bills for your horse. It's kind of like having a kid, I guess. They have to eat, they have to sleep, they have to have somewhere to live. So, there's a whole lot of expenses that come up with horses. But you don't have to be rich, and you can prioritize what's important to you. You can cancel your Netflix bills, or drive a older model car, like a used car. You don't have to buy a brand new car. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses and have the newest iPhone, whatever. So, if you kind of actually plan and you know exactly how much your budget is and what you can spend and what your goals are with horses, then I really and truly believe anyone can ride horses, and you do not have to be rich or wealthy in order to do so. Comment below if you agree or disagree, and please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and also like this video. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and happy trails!